Welcome to the Upstream Podcast. I'm your host, Hopkins and
Jaron.
And together we're J-Hop.
That's right.
So, man, are they going to arrest Donald Trump this week or not? It was supposed to come down Tuesday. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they can. And it's over the Stormy Daniels thing.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. Like you said, they was going to do it Tuesday. The Stormy Daniels thing, what was that, like 3-4 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, there's anytime anything's going on, it's Trump's fault nowadays. When Obama got into office, anything that went on was George Bush's fault, and now it's Trump's. I hope they don't arrest him.
Yeah, I hope they don't either. But isn't it interesting how we do this in life too? But like, you blame the predecessor of what you walked in on instead of taking ownership and accountability.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he did anything to get arrested for. I just think it's going to make us look like even more of a banana republic by, arresting a president for some cockamamie charge that they trumped up on Trump.
Dude, it's really crazy. I'm actually trying to look up the tweet that Elon Musk did. He'd mentioned something like the banks are failing. And so like, quick, look over here. Let's arrest Trump.
Yeah,
because look what has been happening in the financial industry right now. It's like all coming down. It's like, here's this distraction. They do that every time.
Yeah.
So was that just a ploy to get people away from the banks are actually failing?
Who knows, man? Just wake me up when all this is over.
Yeah,
it's crazy. What a crazy time we're living in. What a time to be alive to experience all this. It's nuts. I mean, and most of it is unbelievable. It's like we've got a bunch of cartoon characters running the world right now.
Literally.
Seriously.
What do you, speaking of cartoon characters, you know who Joe Biden reminds me of? Do you ever watch that puppet guy? Jeff Dunham, I think is his name.
The old man.
Kind of looks like the puppet on that.
Yeah, the puppet's probably a little smarter than what Biden is, though.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. But
with or without the hand up his butt.
Oh my gosh. No, it's good. Yeah, the world's crazy. We're living in unbelievable times, and I will say I'm glad to be doing life and business with you though, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It feels really
banks are failing, but we're stacking cash.
Yeah, dude. It's been a pretty fun last couple of weeks, right?
It's been good, man. We got so many great things going on. Let me see that. So maybe I should or shouldn't do this. This is a new brand that we've been working on diligently for last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Anyway, about 90 days.
Yeah. I'm not going to show the back label, but I'll show the front label. This is the most beautiful branding. I've been doing this for 15 years, and this is the most beautiful branding that I've ever seen. Can you catch that, Ashley? Cool. Anyway, this is a weight gainer for All American Canine, which is our new in-house brand that we're launching. Kind of an in-house brand. It's a joint venture we're doing with one of our clients, but it's the first time that we've had any interest in a retail brand other than, we do contract manufacturing for other people who sell products, but this is our own, and I'm fired up about it.
Yeah, dude, I'm like stoked.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about this is we've been doing this for what, like you said, like the last 2 to 3 months, and we were really excited, right?
Yeah.
This week we were going to get these labels, different things coming in. You were like on cloud 9, you walk in the door, and then we find out we had a mishap. Like, What do you do with that?
Well, there's a misspelling on the email address. It's supposed to be bark@americancanine.com. And it was bark@americacanine.com. We left the N off of American. So what did I do? Instead of reprinting those things, I went and bought allamericacaniine.com. And so we'll just have both URLs pointing to the website until we run through this product. And then that'll be a collector's edition.
I like it.
So if you get one of the first products with a misspelling, then congratulations. You got a collector's edition.
Yeah. You know what I'm excited about this journey? I've been on a lot of different businesses, a lot of different partnerships. This one's exciting to do with you because I feel like I've been just striving my whole life in business.
Yeah.
And I just turned 35 last month, and I've done 8 or 9 or 10 different businesses, probably had 15, 20 different business partners.
Yeah.
And this is really cool going into this because I feel like God brought me to a place in the last year of learning how to rest and not strive for things. So as I'm looking back, I'm just seeing how I'm, striving to make money, or I'm
Right.
striving to just pay the bills and striving to do this. And I feel like working with you now, this new season we're going into in this business, we're going to come from a place of rest, and we're going to be working hard, but it's going to be really good. And it's going to
Yeah.
be coming from a place where I think God has got favor. And I look back and I think of moments where I'm like, did I have favor, was I actually doing what God wanted me to do? And I think sometimes it was, and I went off some paths, but I would just love to hear what you think, like this season for you is going to be, because you have a lot more experience than I do
Yeah.
in business and different things. But I'm excited because I feel like we're going to be working like crazy, but it will be coming from rest instead of striving.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think anytime when it's unclear whether if things were divinely orchestrated or not, if you've got to question that, then obviously it wasn't, and you were doing it in your own strength. The great thing about doing business with, like with you and other people of like mind, is that we know when it's time to step back and we got to take a break and we've got to, regroup, get recentered, whatever. Because it's easy, especially when you're doing something on your own, it's easy just to go full steam ahead. And what I like about us working together is that we can bounce stuff off of each other. And when it comes to striving or just pushing and trying to make things happen, it's so much easier when you've got a team that you're working with, because then you're not doing everything on your own. And that's what really weighs me down, is whenever I try to do too much on my own, and then you get overwhelmed and you get frustrated and things don't seem to work out the way they should. What I love about what we've put together here is that we've got a team of people who have unique talents and skill sets, and everybody brings those to the table, and then we can just cut them loose to do what they do. So we don't have to do every single thing on our own. And before we put this team together, especially when I was back in Oklahoma doing this business, it was just me. I had my mom and dad working for me. But it was really just me. And so it was really easy to get into that funk of, you're trying to build something, but it's hard whenever you're the only person. So I think that's why it's good to bring people on and let them run. And, to have people that you're of the same mind, you're on the same page when it comes to what you're building. Does all that make sense, or was I just rambling?
No, it makes so much sense. It's really cool because today, um, I had this like really cool like thought, and I was feeling when we came in, it was me, Whitney, and Jake. I got them. We're going to start working on like managing inventory, and I'm getting this vision cast of doing this, and Ruby's in this other spot, and she's listening to all this, and I kind of met with them, showed what we want to do, and I come out, and she's like, "Wow," she's like, "Jaron," she's like, "That was really cool listening to that." She's like, "You really can see the 30, 50,000 view."
That's awesome.
And I go, "Yeah." I'm like, "Thank you. I love that comment." And she's like, "Well, we definitely need people like you." And I go, "Yeah, and we need people like you because I don't see the trees.
Yeah.
My problem is I see every tree, but I run over trees and without knowing it."
Yeah.
And so it was really cool because as our team is growing now, and we got what you're talking about, unique individuals and different talents, I feel like one of my skill sets is to help people thrive with what they're good at. And so I'm having a lot of fun this week.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to be moving forward because as the team grows, so much more can happen and be more efficient, because I'm really good at getting things set up, seeing certain things, but like actually getting that implemented is where I kind of like fall down a little bit.
Right.
And it's really fun when I can cast that vision out and do things. And something Jake is amazing. He's like, "Oh,
so sharp.
Can I take on this?" I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was really cool today.
And we have got such a good group of people. One of our friends, Joseph, we were in a meeting last week, and he was like, "I can't believe the amount of talent that's in this room." And it got me to start looking around, and I knew it, but it's kind of like, kind of take things for granted. It's like, you don't consciously dwell on the fact that I'm surrounded by a bunch of superstars, but we are. And it's like, we come in here to do something and we all leave our egos at the door. And you had sent me something the other day about, it's really cool when when you're in lockstep with people and nobody really knows who the leader is.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah, that's really good. There's times when you need a clearly defined leader. And I mean, I know that I started this business and I'm at the helm, but I love it that every single person that we've brought in is a natural leader, and they're capable of stepping in and just taking control of whatever area that we needed help with. And it's like we bring the right people in at the right time to pick up the slack in the areas that we need the slack picked up in.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed. And one thing that I do want to say, with all the people that we've got on board right now, we started something else called the Upstream Collective. And if you're listening to this, you may want to go and follow the Upstream Collective on Instagram and Facebook, I believe. I know we're live on Instagram. Are we on Facebook too, Ash? And it's really basically just documenting the story of what we're doing. We're building the All-American Canine brand with Cody, and there's several employees here that we're helping them build out their own brands, not necessarily, dog health products, but wherever their passions are. And we're documenting all of that, the journey from, step one to building a viable business. And it's going to be really interesting.
I'm so excited because when I built my first successful business with my family, I did it with me and my wife, her parents and mine. So it was a big family effort. And we had a lot of employees and different salespeople and a big building by the end of it. And we didn't document like anything.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back at what we're doing right here. I'm like, I wish so much that I would have videoed daily and weekly content, because there's so much funny stuff, but there's also like those memories, like you can share with your family or your kids or your grandkids or your aunts, your uncles,
Right.
or your best friends, and be like, what we're going to do and build. I think it's really cool. I heard someone say once, like, if you could go see what your grandpa did and watch a video and go and popcorn for 10 hours, what would you pay for that?
Yeah.
He's like,
it's priceless.
It's priceless. And so he's like, nowadays we have this, right? And we do really dumb stuff with it.
Right.
Why don't you document your life so that people that love you later can go back and see it? And I was like, that really hit me.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's important. I would give anything. I come from a line of entrepreneurs. My dad owned his own company. My mom was a doctor. She owned her own company, and my grandparents, they were in the oil and gas business. But I would give anything to go back and see a step by step, documentary or whatever on how they built the businesses that they built. The people that came before us, how they got there. So I'm excited about what we're doing at every turn. So if you get a chance, go to the Upstream Collective on Instagram and Facebook and check that out. I think it's going to be really, really cool. We're going to document everything every step of the way.
Yeah, we had a really funny one yesterday we documented.
What was that? You have to go watch it. What was that all about?
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
Capturing that.
Yeah. Hilarious. But talking about striving, and I'm a perfectionist, and I've known guys that I've worked with that we've built brands, that we've launched different products. I've known guys that will just throw something out there, literally with a label that they printed on their home computer, duct tape a lid on to the bottle. This is, for a dog product. And they're making 10 grand a month selling a duct tape gallon of whatever it was they were selling. I'm not going to talk about the product specifically. And then I know other guys like me who will take 2 or 3 months to make sure that everything is perfect before I launch. Meanwhile, this other sucker who's got this bootleg looking product, he's already made 30, 40,000 bucks before I even told anyone what I was doing. So there's something to be said there that, sometimes you got to build the parachute on the way down and not have everything together. Just like these labels that I sent off to print, and there was typos on it. And you don't understand, the perfectionist in me is like,
oh, I can see it.
It ate me up. And I think Ashley even recorded it when I came in. I'm like, cut. I saw the typo. I'm like, all right, I'm not happy anymore.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why we balance each other out really well, though.
Yeah.
because I got the opposite of where I'm like, let's just go. I don't care.
Right.
Like, and I care, but it's like, no, we just need to just get started. But you got to balance it out because sometimes I'll get started and things aren't even properly ready to go.
Yeah.
But if you can balance that out, it's good because you need to have that perfection, but you need to have the urgency. Because if you don't have that urgency, and you, like you said, other people, like how I look at it is if there's 10 people in a room and they need to go to like this top of this mountain, right? There's going to be different routes to get there. Someone is going to leave and just take off sprinting. They're not even going to think to get prepared. They're not going to get a backpack. There's going to be the opposite end. There's going to be people like, okay, I'm going to look up the weather. I'm going to get my gear. I'm going to go to this store. I'm going to have this. By the time that they get ready, the middle guy is already halfway up the mountain. But you kind of have to be in the middle though, because if the guy just takes off sprinting and he's not prepared, he's going to get cold. He ain't going to have the stuff to get there. So there's that middle ground of like, okay, you got to do enough preparation, but eventually you can't just keep thinking you have to take action.
Good job. So there's a scripture that I came across a couple of years ago that's really stood out to me. And it's talking about, it's in regard to perfection or striving for perfection. It's Hebrews 10:14. And it says, for by one sacrifice, he is made perfect forever, those who are being made holy. So really, our pursuit needs to be toward holiness because he's already got us covered on the perfection front. In God's eyes, we're already perfect. Now, I'm not talking about in character. I'm talking about, we're still going to make mistakes. We're going to still do that type of thing. But in the eyes of God, we've already reached perfection through the blood of Jesus. And so if we rest in that and stop trying and striving and just, rest is a big thing. And we can talk about this, maybe even another episode, talking about the Sabbath. And if rest wasn't so important to God, he wouldn't have mandated it in one of the 10 Commandments.